USC's Andrew Voorhees went viral last month, but it certainly wasn't planned. Projected to be a high draft choice, the All-American guard tweaked his knee at the Combine, and he found out the next day that he had torn his ACL. But that didn't break his spirit. And just 2 hours later in the bench press, he did more reps than anyone all week long. Here's our Chris Hayre, who caught up with Andrew before the draft to learn how he lifted the bar on what's possible.
I like to think of it as coming to a fork in the road, and you have two opportunities. You could go down the path of feeling sorry for yourself and letting this affect like the trajectory of your career, or you go the opposite path and just choose to respond, right, with a great attitude and a great effort.
He was in amazing spirits, even given what had just happened, and he always is. I've never seen him down, truly. For as long as I've known him, I've never, ever seen him get down. So I just knew, you know what, if there's anyone who can get through this, it's him.
It took me about probably, I'd say, 15 minutes to really...
That's it, 15 minutes?
About 15 minutes until I kind of was just like, okay, like, it happened. We can complain about the past, but what is it going to do at the end of the day? It doesn't fix any of your problems. It doesn't change the future. So let's attack whatever lies ahead, and let's just put this behind me and let it be a part of my story and a part of my journey.
You know what was ahead was the bench press a couple hours later, correct?
Mm-hmm.
38 reps, more than anybody at the Combine, man, on a torn ACL. When you did that and you got those reps in, tell me what it was like in that moment, and then kind of what proceeded after that.
Went into the bar and competed, really. At the end of the day, that's what it was. It was not wanting to miss out on an opportunity to go out there and compete and finish really what I started that week in Indianapolis. So super proud of my performance. Like you said earlier too, it inspired a lot, and it was really cool to see the response from everybody.
His mental fortitude and toughness that he has is, I mean, as you've seen, he came back and knocked out 38 on the bench after tearing his ACL, and I've seen him do it live, and so I think he would have knocked out a lot more, but to be able to do something like that is, it's courageous. It's a certain mental toughness that you have to have, and it's exciting.
Who did you hear from, and what was maybe the people that reached out or you saw that maybe took you back a little bit?
I think like J.J. Watt was probably the biggest one, just the caliber of player he is. He's going to be in Canton here pretty shortly. So seeing him and his words of encouragement just meant a lot. But also all the kids that have reached out to me and just how they have said I've inspired them so much has been even more awesome, really.
Seeing those messages pour in and just everyone's well wishes and people are, praying for him and just everything, it was such a sweet moment. Just after something so devastating, there was so much good that came out of it.
Literally, some kid messaged me that day, the day I did the bench press, and said he literally just tore his that day, and was just like, "You're so inspiring. Like, you went out there and did this." It was so cool for me to pour back out into these kids after all these guys poured into me and just encouraged me. So just letting these kids know that it would be all right and that we'd get through this rehab process together. As bad of a situation it was, the response that people had was just incredible, to say the least.
For as poorly as it went at the Combine in terms of an injury, you probably made the most indelible impression to teams, right? They see competitor, they say somebody who's not going to give up. So as we get closer to draft day, what's your hope? What are you expecting?
Wherever I end up, I just want the team to know that they're going to get a competitor, like you said, and disciplined, physical, tough, mentally tough competitor. I think just a few of the words that I put on display out there when I went and did the 225, given that I just torn my ACL right before.
Voorhees was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, who traded into the 7th round in order to pick him up. What a fabulous, fabulous story.
I try and tell high school athletes, coaches, moms, college, I've just seen it all, and half the time they already know you're good enough. But there's character moments like that a coach or an organization sees and goes, you know what, I can work with that. I already know he's good enough. But a display of character and spirit like that, anyone can work with that. An awesome story.
And in today's NFL or in today's pro sports, that's what the guys in the front office are really looking for. Not everyone, but most can play.
Exactly.
But it's that little bit extra that you need.
It's not only just the extra, but sometimes it's that glue. It's the ability to bring a locker room together, and clearly he's got that competitive spirit and nature. It's a fantastic story.
It's the it factor.
That's the word.
He's got it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and you see it in young kids too. Like you see a lot of high school kids play. That's where it starts with them as well.
Most of the time, the college coaches that are coming out to recruit these kids, they already know they're good enough. They want to see what kind of teammate they are. They want to see how they respond to adversity, and clearly he did that very well.